Whoa, I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring. Now you can't.
What up, Joey? Welcome to the show, man. Joey Tunes in the house. It's an honor to have you, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Nice to finally put a face to you, Ryan. How's everything?
Dude, it's an honor, man. So I've heard so much about you, just learning a little bit about you over the last couple of days. So let's give the squad a rundown and tell us about yourself and what your position is at KDABET, and we'll roll with it, man.
At KDABET, I'm going to be the head trader there, I would say, pretty much. Being in the trading sports betting field for so long, they assigned me, we all came to agreements. We all have our parts. There's 5 of us, really talented group of guys. Me having the most knowledge of markets and dealing with a lot of pro bettors that, I'm going to run the trading desk with my desk.
Let's tell everybody a little bit about how you got into this, how this all got started in the first place. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. And I want to hear the backstory a little bit about how you became who you are today.
Yeah, so I'll take you way back. So probably about like 15 years old. I mean, I grew up in the Northeast, New Jersey. Sports betting was just a thing at that point. There were just corner bookies before any of the offshore came about. Just started doing some parlay cards and actually started like taking my friends' bets and calling them out to one of my bosses. I was delivering pizza. I was 16 years old. And, I was like standing good for all these people. I was kicking back to the pizza shop owner, and I just decided, let me do this myself. And for a couple of years, I just started taking my friends' bets locally or whatever. But it wasn't challenging, man. I always had a weird sense of self-affirmation or something that, I wanted to do more in the space. I really liked it. I really liked markets. It's very similar to finance, what we do a little bit. I just started building some models, hooking up with the right people, some math guys. They were teaching me throughout, just always doing the right thing. I kept climbing the ladder and just met everybody strong in the industry. And I have a lot of connections, a lot of outs, and it just grew into what now is, we call it our desk. It's kind of like, I would compare it to a brokerage in finance. People will call us to fill liquidity orders. We'll help move the money around without, or move the bets around without, disturbing the market, because the market is very small in sports. You don't want to move the numbers. If you move the market too much, then that slippage costs you extra money and closing line value and those things. I never wanted to touting is like selling your picks, and that was really popular in like the early 2000s or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted to go that rogue route. So what I did was I kind of created a strategy to where I ask for my partner to get the accounts through local bookies or maybe some offshore places, and they'll give the accounts to me and we chop it right up. So we become partners. So if I lose, you lose, not me selling picks where you lose and I gain. So that kind of grew a lot. Now I have a lot of partners, and my name's pretty good in the sports industry as far as rep wise.
Dude, that's pretty impressive. So how was it? How did you go about understanding the industry? Like, you needed to collect data, you needed to do all these things. Was it just, you just started taking on bets and then it got to be like, okay, I have a certain number, like $100,000 in bets I'm taking in every month? What was the process behind that? And what is considered like a local bookie? Is that he's doing 5,000 a month, or what are the numbers and levels? And
well, the offshore places are the big boys. That's like a Bet Online or a Bookmaker or a Finical, Matchbook. So they're legal offshore places, but they're allowed, or most of them are allowed, or were allowed to be in the US. Previously, rules changed now, some are, some aren't. But the local bookies are considered, like I said, in the Northeast, it would just be like, Sally and Tony on the corner, like just running numbers, small time guys, nothing crazy. It was a little easier back then because the people that entered the space now are, mind-blowing smart. Like, I mean, there's guys that we work with that, and Steve can work for NASA or something, but they realize there's money in this space, Same with the crypto space too. I mean, the minds of the crypto space are just insane. Yeah, when I first started, it was a little easier. Like, right now, football has always been my main thing. So that's most of our origination. For baseball, we use Steve, and some other guys, we use other people. But it changed a lot. It was, I mean, to be fair, it was a lot easier. We knew tricks and angles, and Excel was impressive in 2000, not as it is now. Now I can't, I can't program like these guys. So, you got to move with the times. I don't want to be a dinosaur, so I have to branch out and kind of realize my weakness and go get help in that aspect,
Yep. So these guys all have these basically like pre-built supercomputers that analyze a massive amount of data that basically no human ever, or no group of humans ever could, right? Is that how I understand that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, now the syndicates, you would say, it's almost like a super team of like, you got the hustler, you have the computer guys, you have the guy who has the liquidity or the connections into finding ways of getting money down, because it's really hard to get money down. And in this space, if there's 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in a syndicate like our desk, I mean, I have 8, 9 guys working every day, 24/7. We need to bet and win, or I mean, it's just not worth it. I can't bet 500 and support everybody, so that's the cat and mouse game. And a lot of these places just don't let you bet like that because they know they're behind the 8 ball on a lot of things.
So how do people like you get bets in now? What is the industry going like? It's
a lot of like underground trading now. I'm in a pretty good position with like I said, my partner accounts. These locals we call, like I said earlier, small time bookies that they're not really on chain or on the market. Mm-hmm. So you could bet them and the number won't move, similar to finance. If me and you wanted to side bet 100,000 on Tesla, we're just trading. We're not it's not going to go to 741 or whatever. Yep. So that's kind of like where these trade chats are set up now. A lot is moved underground and, playing around with the market. Cause like I said, the market's really small. With the offshore, I have a lot of accounts, so I could kind of bet a decent amount all at the same number without really disturbing the market too much, which is key. With all the syndicates and all the people we deal with, it's really frowned upon if you start moving numbers around. No one's going to use you as a brokerage because it's like you're taking money out of their hands pretty much.
Yeah, you're messing with their bottom line.
Exactly, yeah. You moving the number for not a lot of money or peanuts or whatever, then they might have been able to get 100,000 down at that number. Now the number has changed and it's worse for them.
I get it, man. So do you have like an algorithm or something that tells you what you can bet that won't move the line? Or is that just something that comes with experience? You have the idea to...
It's basically like testing. So some of the sites we're testing to see if they'll move the number. We just bet them out single, or we have people that move for us. A mover is someone who, like what we do also, like another brokerage. We have guys that don't want to give us their accounts, or maybe they like the other side, so we'll send orders out to maybe 7, 8 people, and they'll give us back what they want, and they just want the information too. So they may get 10,000 and say, thank you for the order, here's 5 to you, and we'll keep that 5, but we'll see if the market's moving. I should mention that there's a screen. It's like a market. It has all the sports books up, all the major players offshore and in Vegas and New Jersey. They're basically, the DraftKings and FanDuels. There's a screen. It's called Don Best, and basically you could see them. It's all kind of coded nicely in front of you, so you could see what place is at what number, and if the market is starting to move, it will kind of Christmas tree, it'll light up, we call it, and the numbers you'll start seeing them in motion, and that's not good until at least the order's filled, and then you don't care anymore. Then it's like, okay. But remaining quiet, not disturbing the market is basically the main, it's a big objective.
Dude, I can imagine, man. Can you break it down for some beginners? And can you explain a little bit about like what a rec is, sharps are, what market makers are, so our audience has an idea when we're going forward?
Yeah, no problem. So there are the 3 things that each exchange, basically exchange. Bookmaker just wants the recs. The recs are recreational players. It's dad, brother, cousin, whatever, reading the newspaper that morning or whatever online now, and just having an opinion out of nothing, no math, anything, maybe just the color of a team, or he's drunk. I mean, those guys are the blood of the, they're the lifeline of the bookmakers.
Okay.
So in exchange, we want them as well. You know, I mean, they're going to be the ones that everyone eats up pretty much. I mean, you know, the strong survive, the weak.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to get it. You know, it's basically the mark at the poker table, or, you know, you always want that donkey with the money.
Yep.
Yeah, so they have they're recreational players. I don't know if I said that, but that's what we call them. And you know, all negative EV bets, and they do a lot of parlays, you know, high ROI bets for the sports books. You know, not very profitable. Yeah, they have no tools, they have no algorithms. They bet with heart and teams and cities and what they saw the week before, the day before, the week before, and you know. Then we'll go into sharps, which is, I guess we're considered both that and market makers, but sharps are basically like almost like a shark, but we're betting numbers. We're looking for erroneous bets from squares or recreational players. We have models, we have sophisticated numbers. It's zero, you know, your favorite team, you could bet against them 30 times in a row. I'm betting strictly numbers. If Dallas is, you know, +7 and the Eagles are -5, it doesn't matter to me. It's just if the number makes sense in the power ratings. If there's positive EV on one side, I'll take that. Also, the sharps are looking for bigger orders. You know, they're not going to be attacking for $50 and smaller bets like that. Market makers are basically someone who puts their data up, trying to bait people into filling their order. That's kind of like what I was talking about earlier with the trade chats. We'll go head to head, or we're just looking to maybe fill an order for somebody, or, you know, that type of situation. We need big liquidity and we need these orders filled. They're also considered sharp because they're playing numbers as well. And a lot of it is arbing too. I'll just give an explanation. Kind of a no-lose situation where, you know, you would take a number and take back the other number, a better number than what you laid originally. So I'll use numbers. -120 on a team. And if the closing line value or the game gets hit so much in the market that it closes higher at +125, then now I have a bet that's -121 and a bet that's +125, and that's a free earn. So it's ARB.
Okay. And when you say data, what do you mean about, like, I've heard you say that multiple times, like they want your data, like that's what they're paying for is the data. So when you make a bet, how do they get your data?
Well, believe it or not, these sports books, they'll put out very low limits, and some of them behind the scenes are betting your games. So they'll put out, like, when the opening number is when the sports book originally puts out a number of a game. So they start out really low because they're scared to take big limits yet until there's more liquidity in the, and they get bets on both ways and kind of grab their juice. They do really low limits. You bet into that number, and now they have that info. You know, if you're a winning bettor, now they just got off cheap without paying like you know, a bigger bet on it. Later on in the market, when they expand and they have bets, then they'll give you more limits, but they'll give you a little bit more pop for your data. So when I say data, I'm just meaning that now I gave them my algo or what my numbers for pretty much peanuts or nothing, you know?
Say how do they get your numbers? Because you're putting the money on the line. So they put a thing, like kind of like a bait out there, and when you take the bait, then they know where you stand.
You could call it a bait. So it's like they're just going to hang any number. They're unsure of it, you know? And if you bet a sharp or a market maker, if they bet into a game and they know it's you, like you're a number to them, you know, I'm S108 or whatever. Okay. If S108 comes in and bets that game, S108's a winner. We know this guy will torch us long term. So now let's give him his bet usually and move the number. And now the number goes against that bet. It goes with it, or -3 to now 3.5. So essentially they're not stealing my data. They're not coming in and, you know, hacking my algorithm or anything, but they are getting my info for what I consider cheap, you know. They're not. That's kind of what I mean by you know, stealing the data.
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane, man. So like when you place a bet and say it's plus 125, would you actually place the bet? And then come game time, it's plus 100. What do you get the value when you place the bet, or do you get the value when the game starts?
No, you get the value when you place the bet.
Okay.
So that's one good thing. It's not like horse racing is like that, but no, you're locked in. You're locked into the price that you bet it at.
Yep.
So that's a good thing. But if the limits are $1,000 or $500 to start, then now that's all you're getting. We want to bet like later on. So at least when we give them the right side, we'll call it, like, we know, Dallas is the right side. We're just trying to hold out and hope the number stays. We want Dallas -3, but we want it for 50,000, not $200.
Yeah.
If we bet it for $200, now we lose the number. But there's sharp guys that are willing to take that number like almost a whore and give it up just for any type of,
action,
any type of winning or action.
How do they treat winners and losers? So basically, like, once they know you're S108, you're SOL.
Correct. Yeah. The bigger books, the local books have excuses of not paying because we use robots to bet. I won't get into a whole bunch of that, but we have a lot of accounts and we can't obviously bet them by hand. The bookmakers are using automated tools too. So they'll say we're cheating or whatever. It's a matter of speed. It's just getting down all at the same time. So they'll ban winners. They'll do like these monthly sweeps where they look at your winning rates moving in your favor. Like I said before, like if the lines keep getting better in your favor, then that'll either limit you or throw you out altogether or put what they call these spins. Like, so one person could bet and the bet will go right in, and me or someone else, when we bet, they'll put us on a delay. So they'll see our bet coming in, they'll check it out, they'll look at the market, they may not even give us the bet and still move their number and really shun us. They're trying not to throw people out now too much, but they're just really lowering the limits, which, we're just not going to play there for low limits. It's just, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving them the data for so cheap.
Yep. What do you consider to be a low limit? What are the levels of players? Is it like your Recs are betting, a couple $100, your Sharps are betting 1,000, your market makers are betting 50K plus, or what is a? So
Recs could bet anywhere from like $25. I mean, they're really not in it to win. It's basically like a movie ticket. You're not going to win, and if you could get through the season and have fun and do it at a bar or whatever, just to have something on a game that's meaningless, they're just small time. Sharps and market makers are basically, everyone I deal with is, in the range of 50 to 100,000, or even some groups just no limit. Because the liquidity isn't really there, So that's just it's like a whole nother level, There's also some sharps that just don't have the bankroll that, will take the numbers earlier in the week because they only need 2,000-3,000, and that's good for them. Or, the major players are on like six digits and around that area.
Wow, that's crazy. What is what could somebody the top pros in the world that play sports bet, what could somebody take in a year or a month, I guess? What does your average sports bettor make in a month that's like a Sharp or a market maker?
I think they do very well. I know we do, I won't mention numbers, but we do fairly well enough to, it's not easy, but this is all we do. If you're betting, I don't know, 50, 100,000 a game, and you're, 53% and 56%, you can make millions, in just maybe a sport or a season, really. Depends on the year. Yeah.
Wow. So how many
money in the field?
That's crazy. How much you guys work, so you guys go by the season? Do you do just football? Do you just do baseball? Or
even with KDABET, we're going to stick to the major sports. So I'll touch on this too. The bigger the sport, soccer, NFL, college football, NBA, baseball, is the more liquidity. The lower end sports, maybe soccer too, or golf, or tennis, college, basketball. Like you can't fulfill an order. There's the liquidity just isn't there. So
I see.
They take really low limits because they're really at a disadvantage. NFL, the data's all public. They get so many bets that they don't even really, they'll let you bet a little bit in the NFL because it's supposedly a very hard market to beat.
And can you beat the NFL? Like people like yourself?
Yeah, we do good with the NFL. I mean, it's not tremendous like win rate. Like, I mean, I think we were 52.8 last year, which you think like, man, that's not really shit, you know? But 52.8 is above winning, and we get some reduced numbers, meaning like we don't have to pay 110, which the exchange will be great for as well. Bookmakers charge 110 on each side. And that juice for, you know, taking the bets. So the ultimate goal is to bet into numbers that are less of a juice or less of a percentage of their hold that they take.
Yep.
So exchange could be as close as 1%. If me and you like opposite teams, we could basically handshake deal like a pact, like the pact, smart contract, and you know the money will go in escrow, and we're cutting out the middleman of that, and you know we don't have to pay 10 cents premium on just for me and you betting our games against each other.
Dude,
that's more frequent on NFL. Other sports, it's hard to match up. Not other sports, but lower level sports. It's harder to match up when I'm betting Vanderbilt NCAA basketball.
Yeah,
you know, it's tough for you to. You're going to be on North Texas for $50,000. You know.
Yep.
So but back to the winning percent. I mean, and also when you're betting 50 to 100,000 in a pool like the NFL, just a small edge at 53% is massive. I mean, you're talking big money at the end of the year over the course of 100 bets or whatever. You know. So
yeah. How do people front run trades? What is that? Isn't that something that's bigger in the industry? I've heard you guys talk about that a few times.
Off the record, I know the sports books do it, like these big sports books, you know, they're paying attention to certain players. They just know the major players in it. So when we bet, I know there's times where they go out and bet the market because they'll take the bet and then, you know, they're like, do we really want to hold this? Let's bet it out and maybe bet it on top. Also, some of the problems I have with my partners are when they give me accounts, you know, they'll check the account, they'll log in and see, okay, Joey's on whatever, like I said, Dallas. He took -3 and moved a little bit, it's 3.5 now. Now all these partners want to hop on because they don't understand that half point is worth, you know, a certain percent. But like I said, they're wrecks giving me accounts. They don't want to lose anymore, you know, that it becomes unfun. They'll take it at 3.5 and then -4 and just a team to them. Where me, it's a number. I mean, sometimes it gets so out of hand that we're almost looking at the other side now in a tight market like the NFL. I mean, the NFL, every game is down to the last pass, you know?
Yeah.
So a 7 and a 4 is a big difference, you know? A 7, I might take the other side, you know? But a 4, I like my side. So yeah, that's pretty much a way that, you know, we get front run. There's bots, you know, attached to these accounts and, you know, so anything on chain can be pretty much stolen from you. And, you know, there's not much you could do about it. That's why we created the Kuro, the dark pool.
I was just about to say that you need the private blockchain to keep those transactions hidden until the game starts, right? Game starts, you move those on chain.
Yep. It's awesome. It's,
walk me through the whole Kuro. Sorry, I cut you off there.
There's an on-chain, and then there's Kuro. That's the off-chain. I mean, Steve will tell you a lot about that.
Yep.
All your data is stored off the chain. That's Kuro. It's a dark pool. So if I have $100,000 order out on the dark pool, until I'm filled to where I either pull down the bet or filled at least 90% of it. The 90% thing is kind of it's to get rid of the spoofing, you know, because I could leave $1 up there and it'll never become on chain. Like I'll take 99,999.
Yep.
So so once that order is filled, then you know I'm happy, I'm full. Now I'll let the data go on chain where everybody can see it. There's no cheating. There's no back to these touts like with their phony records and who really did what at what number. It's all visible for you. So I mean, it's great. That's something the industry really lacks. You know, that's why we trade our data kind of off to the side. We trade our games off to the side a lot, and that's where a lot of the big orders are filled. So it's kind of our archaic way of, you know, a dark pool.
What if somebody like yourself was just sharing all of their information on YouTube, letting everybody know where to bet, what to bet? Would that destroy the industry?
It would definitely destroy my reputation. I've thought about, like, you know, a lot of these shows burn me up. You know, it's like so fake. Steve Stevens or whatever, these shows that you'll see, you know, on Showtime and stuff. It's kind of like, you know, it's just an understanding, because no one wants to be around somebody who's going to share not only their data and basically, I want to say, secrets of the industry or insider trading and stuff. No one's going to want that order, you know, like, especially if it's going out on YouTube and it just destroys the market. I mean, I would be done in a week as far as, you know,
Makes
people
sense.
dealing with me. Yeah.
Totally, man. And how is KDABET going to change this industry for you guys? What is the main goal? It makes things transparent, fair. It allows people to fill orders. It prevents front running. It allows, so every issue that's basically wrong in the sports betting industry, KDABET will be able to make that better, right?
The best thing to me is the headaches of collecting, which I didn't really get into, so I'll touch on that. But collecting for me is a real nightmare. And now the smart contracts are locked in escrow with Pact, and there's no getting stiffed. There's no having to take, if I have 5 partners, one deals with Venmo, one deals with Bitcoin, one deals with Ethereum, PayPal. So for me, it's a lot of making all the ends meet on like 5 different currencies. So and also my partners or other people are waiting for other people to pay them. So it becomes a trickle-down effect that I could be waiting or not paid at all by these books, because they're just, you know, shit little local books. They could, you could beat them so bad they shut down. So all that is avoided. I even got paid in gold bars. I mean, and this is 2020, you know, shillings. So you can understand my frustration.
Here you go, peasant, take these gold coins. It's all I got left.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Oh man, I got a whole story for that. And yeah, we had to get it tested. It was like lead. Oh man, it was bad, man.
I found this under a ship.
Yeah.
I was snorkeling in the ocean and I came back with this gold chest. Here you go, Joe.
Yeah, let's bet. Blackbeard's treasure. Being paid in Blackbeard. So yeah, so the smart contract will just avoid all that. And you know, we almost know as an office, our desk is we just write off 10% of the year. We're not getting paid, and there's really nothing you can do about it, man. It's like, you know, it's like dropping glasses in a restaurant. You know, you just kind of write it off. So that's going to be the game changer. You know, I mean, zero headaches. I mean, anybody will tell you in this industry, that's the worst part about it. The collecting is hands down. I love trading. I love the betting aspect, but man, when it comes Monday and we do the accounting and this guy's too high, why didn't we start lowering? And you know, it's like, it just, you know, people have credit limits basically with us, you know, if you're a tier A or a tier F, you know, give anybody a shot, but you know, you only have a couple chances to make right and stuff. So
that's so sweet, man. Your Pact smart contract is going to act like your escrow, right? So when they place a bet, to place the bet, they got to have the funds.
Exactly.
And then now, are you guys going to be creating almost like where a sharp can have their own account on KDABET, so like that sharp can take bets from their clients right through your site?
Yeah, they'll be able to, if the sharp has an order on or off the blockchain or the dark pool, then they'll be able to have, I guess, clients under them, you know, go out and maybe feed into that game or whatever. Yeah, our desk, we want to, for us, it's most important to try and get all the info ourselves. That way we kind of, you know, we have an advantage over a lot of people because we're seeing the whole market. We're seeing the whole world, you know. We get 5-6 guys ordering through us, you know, it'll really help a lot. So, but we're going to try and we got some major guys, some major market makers really interested in this. Something's going to happen in this industry, you know, and Kadena is just, not a lot of people understand or know about it yet, but I mean, we tried to deal in Ethereum 5-6 years ago on another exchange. And
nightmare.
I mean, it's 40-minute transactions. If it even goes through or gets kicked back, MetaMask is a pain in the ass.
Yep.
The rec better can't pay the gas fees and bet. I mean, you can't bet $25 and pay $40 to move the transaction. I mean, you can know the outcome of the game and still lose money, so that's not fun. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm betting $25. Even if the game was set up, I have to pay $40 to collect my $25.
I need to place leverage. I need to place leverage trading bets on football.
10x.
Yeah.
10x on Ethereum.
I need 10x on the Lions.
So yeah, Bitcoin is slow. Same kind of deal. You know, the software is old now. You know, I don't know if that's. So
you guys will be able to. You guys will be able to take orders until roughly 2 minutes before game time.
Yeah, it's that quick. And another thing, your money's not going to be tied up. Like, so if the game ends, your contract's released, you get paid right then and there. So you could hurry up and get in 4-10 game or whatever the next game. Your money's not tied up for 40 minutes, and you're trying to see, you're refreshing, seeing if your money hit your wallet, and then shit, the game gets kicked off and you're shut out. You know, that won't be an issue because of the speed of it.
So when you say you're one of the top in the world, does that mean like you can basically tell me who's going to win almost every game? Or is it something like you know how to move money? So when the line gets too high, you're putting money on the opposite side so that your bets are always even. You take the juice. That's what you're chasing. Or are you chasing the gains from the game?
A little of both. More so, we want to bet. We're not so much going to play like the ARB game like you just mentioned. So if we bet a game and it moves so much that it gets into a whole nother number, like a whole nother, you know, and we show value on the other side, we may reduce our position or just say, we think both bets are winning bets, -3 and +7.
Yep.
And there's a good chance that the game hits from both sides. So, you know, we'll do a little of that only if we want to win. We want to bet. We want to win. We want to originate. We want our numbers be filled in the market. And we think our numbers will be better than yours, and the bookmakers. And, you know, that's the goal. That's the goal of it.
I don't know if I heard you mention parlays, and I'm pretty sure what that means is you're taking a bet on like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, right? Like these rec bettors go, I think the Red Wings are going to win here, and then after the Red Wings, the Michigan Wolverines play. I'm going to play the Wolverines +3, and they pick 3 teams, and a $10 bet could, in theory, win them. If they win all 3, a much larger amount of money. I know that you say that people have issues putting in higher limit bets. Can people like yourself put in $1,000 parlay on like an 8-team parlay? Could you hit all 8 teams? Are you that good?
Well, yeah, like that's what I wanted to revert back to. You know what? I am that good, but it's not a positive EV bet. You know, it's a grind. Like when I feel bad because people ask me for games, and I mean, think about it. We did good in the NFL at 52.8%. So, or whatever, closer to whatever it was last year, 53%. So. I'm really only ahead by a little bit. I mean, I could given you 10 games this year and actually lose 7, and you think I'm full of shit. So it's just kind of like the long term. Hitting 8 in a row is just, I mean, the odds, the return on investment is terrible. It's only good for the books, you know. That's their money makers. But yeah, I should have explained. So there's a bunch of non-profitable bets such as parlays, which you said correctly is. It has to be at least 2 teams up to places usually take 8, and you either hit all of them or you lose. But the payout is large. You know, it's almost like a lottery. They want those. They want these bets. They're called proposition bets or props for short. And they're like, you know, will Tom Brady throw for 345 yards? And everybody watching the games just want the overs because everybody wants... who wants to see Tom Brady throw for 120 yards? So nobody could cheer that in. Nobody could root that in. There's bets called reverses. It's the same kind of thing as a parlay where you win 4-1 if both teams hit. And if you lose, you lose. You know, you lose 1 of 2. You lose less. If you lose 2 of 2, then you lose a little bit more. Those bets are pretty much just sucker like bets. Those bets on the sucker bets on the blackjack table where you're just circle. That,
the bonus.
They just donkey in. Yeah, it's just like no one ever wins. It's just a sweep always, you know. So that's kind of like what they are. I mean, the books live off them. If you have huge parlay players, I mean, you're a highly profitable book. You know, the straight up bets are like, you know, baccarat or blackjack, kind of the sense where they don't give you a lot of comps. You're rated, you could beat those games. It's almost like 50-50. So that's what straight bets are. And straight bet is, like I said, just mano y mano, and, you know, who has the bigger edge wins out.
And I had a couple of subscribers when we were talking about you guys in the live stream last night. They wanted me to ask you, you guys are very successful in the Web 2 industry. What makes you want to move to Web 3? If you guys already have a successful business that's crushing it, is it the whole fact of like all these issues we talked about that's going to fix those? Is that the main purpose of going?
Yeah, that is the main purpose. I mean, it's everything is changing so fast, and you know, it's almost like the tricks or the angles or all the info we got is getting, I don't know, it's saturated. Yeah, I mean, it's becoming like more people have access to more things.
Yes,
so
exactly.
The advantages I had then, I'm no longer having. You know, like we have Twitter bots that, you know, we get injury updates fast, and, you know, we weed out all that. I mean, but now people are starting to get hip. Twitter is a huge source. I mean, Twitter 10 years ago, no one even knew about. I'm using it not to lean on a Lamborghini or show off, you know, what I had for dinner. I'm using it to hunt down these beat writers that are, you know, in the game. Like, they know everything. They know ankle injuries, if the team got drunk last night, that's all. Now it's just speed is everything. Yeah. It's also harder. There's more people in this space now. There's more winners than ever. So I have to keep up with the newer data scientists are in the space, and the machine learning is crazy. The limits are lower also because the books are getting beat. 10, 20 years ago, I mean, you could walk up to MGM and bet 100,000. There was no card. They didn't really care. They were making so much money because no one knew anything. There was no info. There was nothing like that. The algos weren't there. It was just easier. Now we're trying to use, like, I call them beards, which are people like, Ryan, I can't bet 50,000 at you know, Caesars. You can. So here's 50,000. Can you bet it for me? Yep. So that's what I kind of do with my partners. The bookie thinks the partner is the player, but it's really they're passing the account to me type situation. So I mean, it's like jail, you know. You're making knives out of plastic spoons, you know. It's like you always have to adapt to, because I mean, we need liquidity. Liquidity is the most important thing in our industry. Like I said, if doesn't matter what hit rate, what percent you're winning at, if $500 just ain't, you know, it can't work. Yeah, it can't work like that.
And how do people become beards? Like, how do you find people like that? Is that like something we don't want to talk about, or?
No, I mean, I've dealt with a lot of great people on Twitter. I mean, essentially, you know, when I play into these accounts, they're my beard. You know, one of the best sports bettors ever, Billy Walters, I think we spoke about last time. He kind of invented that game by having loser players sit in a sports book, and that now they get the winning games, and they also get paid for betting for Billy. So that's kind of, I mean, that's still around. We need new faces, and then they get thrown out, and you got to recycle. So it's hard. I mean, it's hard to be a beard. You gotta, I mean, you're trusting them with money and stuff. I mean, that's the main I don't know. It's the trust got to be there.
Is there anything that KDABET can make better for a beard? Or you won't need beards on anymore with KDABET, right? Because you guys will be able to take any bet.
Yeah, we'll be able to just match anybody. And
oh man, so every big player is going to want to come to you guys because you guys will take every bet.
Yeah,
everybody's going to want to use it.
We'll have origination, and when we have these market makers, I mean, we have some big market makers from Betfair, Pinnacle. We have some guys and our desk will be, you know, putting everything out there. So there'll be plenty for people to bite into. You know, the liquidity will be tremendous, and it'll solve the greedy bookmaker of the 10% vig, the juice, you know, where it's tighter. I mean, we just, you know, we want to bet. We don't mind facing anybody. Just we want the liquidity, and we would like, you know, almost like a handshake deal where we don't have to pay the bookmaker just for brokering the deal between me and you, you know.
Dude, that's gonna be sick. What are you guys' plans for you guys' tokenomics? I know that the Kings are gonna get you, a percentage off or something like that off your fees, 2% off fees or 2% off the line or something like that. And then
we have a bunch of different bonuses we're going to be doing for minting these NFTs, which will go up in value. So we'll be able to, if you get in early, which we already sold out, we sold out of 500 of them already. It's really going well. The marketing, we didn't really start marketing yet. But so later on, these NFTs will become valuable because you'll be able to use them for betting bonuses, which maybe is, instead of paying 110 juice, you're paying 107. So you're saving basically like a coupon for betting. We were going to do trips to Vegas or destinations, vacations, free play, which is like I could bet a game for $1,000, and if I lose, I don't have to pay. If I win, I collect, and that's what you could use the NFT for. And you could sell them later on to bigger players as the exchange develops, and it's a free market. They pay for it. That's
so smart, man. And then when you guys place bets on KDBet.com, what is the currency of the bet? Is it KBet or KDAB?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's KDAB we're going to be using.
KDAB.
So we're gonna take some time in on ramping. Nobody likes change, but it's good stuff always comes of change.
Oh, that's just, people won't have a problem because they'll hold that value.
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a, I'm thinking to myself, so if I'm a market maker, right? How many coins are you guys putting out into circulation? Do you guys know off the top of your head? 100 million?
We did 100 million. Yep.
100 million. So if I got 100 whales, 100 market makers, I mean, I'm sure is that many, right?
No, yeah, we're trying to get about 10 on right now, the market 10? Makers to get going. Yeah.
So you think that
big market makers?
Yeah. Do they have $1 million bankroll? Do they place $1 million in trades?
No, we're gonna kind of figure out how we're gonna distribute everything. I would like to give. If credit becomes an issue like margin, then I would like to address that. But
no, I'm thinking
as
that
of right now,
there's the demand for the token, right? Like these market makers are going to have to buy your coin to place these bets, which makes the value of your coin drastically more valuable because they're always going to need enough to place their bets. So they can't really ever dump off. They have to hold that quantity. So the bigger that the business gets, the more valuable the KDABET token becomes because you're utilizing that as your token, right?
Right. So it's deflationary. It's also, we're paying people for closing line value, which I touched on before. Closing line value is anything that the market, when the game starts, if your number was better than the market close, meaning if you have -3 or you have -120 and the market closes 4 or -127, we're paying you KDAB for, providing us great data, and it's a reason for you to put your data on there and to win the game, to bet, instead of all the negatives of Web 2. This will actually, congratulations, you beat the market, not you're getting thrown out for beating the market.
Yeah, dude, that's bad. That's badass, man. I don't know what your guys' overall like percentage that something like this could make, but just an idea off the top of my head. What if you guys took 0.5%, like 0.05%, so not even 1% of every trading fee, and you guys bought KDA with it, and you backed KDAB with KDA, like Luna was backing Luna with BTC. What if you guys just took a small percentage of that? The amount of love something like that would get from the Kadena community, because you guys would not only be, you guys are already going to be the biggest fans of the community, but if you started making Kadena better, meaning like you are helping the community win by the better, KDAB does,
right,
the better Kadena, you know what I'm saying? Just something like that. If there's a, just want to throw
like
that
Kadena, the actual coin goes up, meaning, right? It's back.
Yeah, you guys
we're back in KDAB with Kadena.
Yes, just so there's always people complain like, oh, the crypto's worth nothing. It's not backed by anything. You see what I'm saying? Where like you guys just have like a reserve treasury. All these projects do it. It would be just the littlest amount. We see Bybit doing it with their tokens. All these players kind of do something like that. And you guys get so much more love from, like, look at what Luna, look at how much attention Luna got when they started backing Luna with Bitcoin, right? Like those little plays are so huge.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do not want to sell. We want to keep everything, we don't want anybody to sell. We don't want any type of dumps or anything like that, because we want the coin to grow, even if you're losing, but you're holding coins, these go up in price. It's almost like you bet for free for a year or so.
Yep.
So
it's so smart, man.
Yeah, it's excellent,
The flywheel, really my favorite types of projects are the projects that make money instantly.
Yeah.
Like when this project, it generates revenue. So that covers for that allows you guys to mess up and make so many more mistakes, because normally you just need money and resources to fix mistakes. And once you make a mistake, you normally don't make it twice. So it's like you have the ability just to really take this to wherever you guys want to take it. You guys got the market makers, you guys got the players, you guys got the talent, you guys got the legal team. You guys have already been doing it in Web3. Statistically, I would say, the probability of a business like yours not being successful in this space is pretty slim. Like, you guys got the resources. You guys seem to be following the rules, the laws, the regulations. You guys don't want to scamp or do anything shady or anything BS. You guys are straight by the book, man. And that's what you have to be in this industry. Yeah,
because there's a lot of bad names out there, in the crypto world, especially in the beginning, man. All those ICOs. And
I love how Steve's very adamant about it's our responsibility to make Kadena look good. Like, that's like part of you guys' ethos is like, you guys are really concerned about like, hey, we can't let this fail, because we need to make a good example for what Kadena is capable of. And that's one of the things I like about you guys the most. You guys are the real deal, man.
Steve's been telling me about Kadena for 3 years now. I mean, he just loves it. He's just so talented, so when he's been building on it, for me, the ins and outs of, Ethereum or whatever, or KDA, he really knows. And the community knows too that, it's great. It's just, getting it out there and building great things on it, because everyone I talk to that really understands crypto or Kadena, like, loves it, man. It's the biggest, it's the biggest technology revolution in the industry. It just hasn't played out yet. I personally think that Stuart and Will win a Nobel Peace Prize, because there's not any type of everyday life. Everything's moving to a blockchain, whether that's buying your cup of coffee, whether that's going to the gym and using an app that's going to be winning on Web3. You guys will have an app, right, that runs on Web3. So now sports betting, right? Like, all of these things are going to be basically done on chain. You got your phone by the mic? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I can. I think it's vibrating in there. I could hear it. So yeah, you guys are doing everything right. Everything's going to be on chain. And then as soon as the industry, I just don't see how Kadena doesn't win, because it's going to make so many things. Like, you guys couldn't do this on any other blockchain. You guys could not build this in the way you needed to build it, in a safe, secure, decentralized manner, that at scale too, with no having to worry. Like, nothing would be worse than building something like this on Ethereum or say Polygon, just to find out next bull run when Polygon's network gets busy, your application can't work, or gas fees are now $10. I think you guys are going to have the huge first mover advantage. And once you guys build the market, to disrupt that market would be very, very hard. How could you get disrupted? Like, once this got up and around, like, you guys are about to disrupt FanDuel. You guys are about to disrupt other sports betting sites. If you guys became who you guys think you can become, how hard would it be for somebody to disrupt you?
Oh, I think, once you're first in the space with, with everything we'll build and keep building upon. And once people see there's no rug pulls and everything like that, it's going to be hard to take down the king, It
is, man. You guys are going to be very hard to take down. Vegas, all casinos, all sports books around the world are going to want to run business through you.
And it keeps advancing. Vegas was considered the Mecca 10 years ago. Now it's, like you said, FanDuel and online places. And, no one saw the progression in 10 years. So, they may not see it now, but they will. Like you said, everything 100%. Is moving to blockchain. There's no rug pulls. Everything is out there. There's no hiding. There's no lying, nothing. You want to go check something, you check the blockchain and it's there.
I want to say DGen coin flip. I don't know if you heard about that one. These guys created a coin flip on Solana. It's heads or tails. And you bet whatever amount of Solana and the house takes the bet, right? It's just heads or tails. This little NFT product is doing like some odd $1 billion in volume a year off a mother freaking coin flipping game.
Boring
what the
people
F,
flipping
man?
Coins.
What the F, dude? And their NFTs.
Gambling is, the gambling is, it's popular. Everybody, I was with a couple other projects earlier years before that were, like I said, were trying to be built on Ethereum and a couple other exchanges that just never really any ability to really take off. But yeah, that coin flip's amazing. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I'll show you when we get some time one of these days. It's a pretty cool little project.
I'll bet it. I'll give a play, man.
Oh, Joe, you crack me up, man. Are you guys planning to do anything else besides sports betting? Are you guys going to evolve this into like fantasy football leagues and like really take this to be an all-in-one, or is this just strictly sports betting?
No, we want to continue it. Yeah, like when we spoke, yeah, I mean, fantasy would be awesome. You know, we just want to get this right for sure, down packed, and then, I mean, because like you said, someone's going to do fantasy. You know, why not us? Someone's going to do boat flip and whatever. You know what I mean? All the drinking games, beer pong.
Yeah, dude.
There, we're just creating more ideas.
Yeah, for sure. So man.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great. Fantasy football on chain would be like amazing. I mean, even that, like I remember 10, 20 years ago, I'd be looking through the newspaper, and then it became ESPN Online, now FanDuel, all these places just run it. It's a huge market.
Do you do fantasy sports?
Not so much. I mean, I used to dabble in some poker and fantasy sports when I was a little bit younger, but this is the bread and butter. This takes, you know, all my time. So I just want to, you know, be the best at one thing rather than pretty good at everything else.
For sure. How is your time? Like in a day, how many hours do you dedicate to doing this?
I mean, not an issue, I guess. I kind of sickly love it. I don't know if I'm demented or whatnot, but I mean, I'll be there 18 hours a day, every day. I mean, now we're working on the KDA. I have great guys that work for me, so they could take some strain off me. But yeah, come football is like, I literally plan my kids around football season. Like that's how sick I am. I won't have a kid, but my kids are in baseball season. Baseball is like, you know, it's the only sport going on at once. So, you know, it's a little less manpower, a little less time, but yeah, I mean, the market never closes. I mean, there's literally Christmas is a big day. You know, it's not like the finance world where you got your West Coast games, you got your soccer at 2 a.m. on the East Coast. It's like never ending. It really is never ending.
And where are you from?
Well, born in Philadelphia. I lived most of my life in New Jersey. I tried going to the old Mecca of Vegas, moving out there. I thought I'd be able to, you know, get some bigger bets in, but it wasn't to be. So then I moved to Florida. That's where I reside now.
That's where you reside? Where in Florida? Oh, you
like West Palm Beach.
Okay, I used to live in Fort Myers.
Oh, did you?
Yep, I lived down there for 3 years back in 2010, 2011. Dude, it is, man. I love Florida. I loved it, man. It's funny, I lived on the beach, a couple miles from the beach, so I was there every day before work playing volleyball on the beach, and then you do it for a year, and then, you know, a year later, my friends were coming down for spring break, like, oh, dude, let's go to the beach, and I'm like, oh, we gotta go to the beach, damn, man, you know? Like, I was just there. I know,
that's why I was in Vegas, too, and now when my friends come down, so many visitors, you know, like, I got, you know, everybody wants to go to Florida. I mean, they want to escape and come down, and they want to go to Miami, and I'm like, and when I lived in Vegas, it was like, I gotta go to the Strip.
Yep.
You know, that's the tourist. And Miami, I'm like, oh man, I'm not ready for that night, man.
Dude, Miami's a rough
6. Yeah, you know.
Oh man, Miami's a blast, man. The parties don't even stop till 4 a.m, or the nightclubs don't even close till 4 a.m.
Yeah, you're driving home and the sun's coming up, and you're just like, oh man, these nights.
Yep. Tomorrow's already here, and it's gonna be rough. You know?
Oh man, it's the worst. It's such a terrible feel. It brings back like memories, you know.
Dude, that's crazy. Man. So anything else you want to cover, Joey? We're at about that hour mark. We can go into a completely different video. I mean, I got time to do another 30 minutes if you want to.
I would like to do, I know you said it was harder, but maybe have me and Steve kind of on if you want, or
absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely have you guys on.
3 people.
I can do 3 ones.
Yeah.
The first ones are just better just to do like a 1-person interview where I'm like introducing you, because then they have to sit there and they have to listen to you tell your story, and they have to listen to Steve tell his story, then they have to listen.
Yeah, it gets
now they know you. Now I can bring you guys on and we can just, you know, bounce back and forth.
Yeah, going more a little bit the development side.
Yep.
Because he's a freak, man. He knows just endless shit about this. It's It's amazing. Guy's so smart.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
It's
And
tough to talk to him.
it is, man. It's hard. And it's crazy. It's like people like me and Steve that really understand stuff like a lot about Kadena. And then speaking it to people that don't understand blockchain, it's really hard for you guys to see what we see, if that makes sense, right? Like
Yeah, no.
And
like you said, 2 different languages.
Me and Steve both wrote it up. All of us did, right? All the way up to 28, you know? I mean, I was over 500K on that at that point, you know? That's a big chunk of change, and then riding it all the way down to now like it's 60,000, all right? Like, but it's like when you understand this technology, you don't have that luxury, because the world, you know, like I was telling you guys earlier, if you're a millionaire, right, or one of these bigger players really starts to understand blockchain and what blockchain technology is, say you're worth 100 million, 1% of your net worth into what could quite possibly make you the richest person in the world, right? Let me just do the math on that. So that would be 500,000 coins of Kadena. Say it's $2. You can actually get it less than that, right? So if you bought $1 million worth, that'd give you 500,000 coins of Kadena. Kadena is a $3,000 asset. That $1 million play will net you $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. So if you wanted to be the richest person in the world, you would need to buy $100 million worth of Kadena today. And you would literally guarantee to seal yourself as the richest person in the world. Mind blowing.
But the liquidity is like impossible to do anything with that, right? Like when I did sell a little bit on the way down, KuCoin was like blocking transactions for a month. So I had to go to Bittrex, and I just got, you know, basically for like, you know, and I wasn't even selling that much, you know. It was just like, damn, man, it's like every time you go and sell some, it's like you're at a whole another level, and it's just like they're like big chunks, like 30 cents. And I'm like, man, it's terrible. It's rough, man. But now Bitcoin just drags everything down, man. It's just like,
because I don't think this market really realized, and I don't think I necessarily do, to understand that. Was Bitcoin really dictating where this market was going? Because Ethereum was the last one to put in an all-time high. Ethereum was the one that led us into altcoin season. Ethereum was the one that started the bull run. Ethereum, you know, was A, B, and C. Was Ethereum really, like, are people just overlooking the fact that maybe Ethereum, and guess what? When did the bull run end? It ended when it was so overwhelmingly obvious that Ethereum couldn't scale, that gas got up to $500 before the bull run ended. And then how do you go, like the industry got to a point where every single blockchain was breaking. Solana was breaking. Avalanche gas fees were up to $10. Harmony couldn't get their cross shard communication to work. Ethereum gas fees were $500. Nothing was ready for global adoption. So what do you do? Just keep pushing up, you know, keep beating a dead horse, or keep kicking a down dog?
Promise of Ethereum too, and you're right though. You're right. That's a good point. Ethereum was like, it started to become where all the wrecks were just talking about Ethereum. They don't even know how to say it. They're like Ethereum. That one's good. Well, I mean, it does do more than Bitcoin. At least dApps run on it. I mean, it holds some use case. You know, like, I mean, Bitcoin. You know, I fell into Bitcoin from betting, but I mean, I could see now, I'm like, what really is it good for? People think it's anonymous. It isn't. It's really just good for, I mean, for me, it's great. I don't have to fly to Detroit with a couple guys and exchange money and do all this. You know, it serves my purpose, but like for the coffee case that's 5 years old, it really doesn't serve a purpose. So tell the Lightning Network. Yeah,
tell us that one more time, because I had some guys in the stream last night, and I told them that people would fly with money, right? Because you can't you can't get bets in. You need to have basically strangers fly in with, say, 10K, 9,900, right? Is that how bookies used to do that, or do they still do that, or?
Yeah. So what we would do, I mean, a lot of the bigger sports books are offshore in Costa Rica or Curacao, and I mean, if we owed them or they owed us, we'd fly down with a couple guys and, you know, kind of pack them with $9,000 and, you know, do things the old fashioned way, or even city to city. Or if I have a beard, you know, that's sitting in Vegas or sitting in Arizona or New Jersey now, I mean, I have to figure out ways to get him money. So it's we'll either trade some cities, maybe my cousin or somebody who I'm involved with, maybe you're a partner. And I'm like, listen, you know, I'll give you 20,000 in Las Vegas. You just spot me in Detroit, and we kind of help each other out. I mean, so the use case for Bitcoin is there for me, but that's it, you know. But that can be done with any. I mean, it's just that Bitcoin's just the popular one, and people don't want to understand anything else. I mean, it scares them, and I could lose all my money, and you know, things like that. So I mean, now it's a little better, like in our industry. I mean, we'll use stables and Ethereum. Stables are popular now because everybody got wrecked, and no one wants to hold the volatility of you know, crypto, Bitcoin. So I mean, and it wasn't too long ago either.
I think that people don't understand what the utility behind, or the, like, when you guys got to settle transactions on chain, everything you do on top of Kadena requires Kadena, right? Like when you guys launch do your IDO, how are you guys taking funds? You're not taking them in stables, you're taking them in Kadena, right? Like that's what, and everything that builds on top of Kadena needs to Kadena to get it. Like that's how you guys raise your funds. That's how everybody supports the community. So every time a project builds on top of Kadena, there becomes a bigger demand for Kadena. Every time you're doing anything, like, right, you'll eventually be able to go shopping and spend your Kadena at like a grocery store, because yes, it'll be volatile, but it won't be that volatile because eventually it's going to hit up like $1 trillion market cap, right?
Yeah.
Or a 5 trillion at some point, because it'll be like, think about if the internet was a cryptocurrency. That's what Web3 is, right? You're writing an application that talks to a blockchain. Your blockchain is the internet. You're going to run your back end on Flux, right? So you're stood up basically 100% on blockchain. Like every single thing you can think of, every website will be built on top of Kadena. Every application, every dApp that you use on your cell phone will run through Kadena. It's pretty freaking crazy to think about that. That's where this industry's headed, but we've never had a blockchain that could offer that much. Like you could tokenize, they can settle every transaction from the New York Stock Exchange today, just on 20 chains. That's 9 million transactions at the end of the day. No clearinghouse. Like you're going to tokenize the stock market. You're going to tokenize healthcare. We have a blockchain that you could literally keep every medical record on chain and locked and secured. And then you can use, what do they call those? Like biometric NFTs, where basically like my fingerprint becomes my 2FA code. Right, my fingerprint becomes my private key. So without my fingerprint, and you can do really sensitive medical records that are permanently locked unless you're in office. So if you only want to share certain medical records with your doctor and that's it, to unlock those, you have to fingerprint it. And then you could use an application like, I don't have to be in the doctor's office to unlock my medical records. I need to pull out my phone, and the doctor sends you a text, hey, can you please give us access to this medical record? Boom, you pull out your phone. If you don't want to give them access, you don't give them access, right? Like everything is going to be done on chain. What that's going to do for the world and demand for the underlying asset, it's just, it's insane. And then you will see players like JP Morgan Chase go, okay, if I was a big bettor, I would be doing everything in my power to buy as much KDABT or KDAB as humanly possible. If I knew I was going to be a big player, I got on your site and seen that things were up and working, it would just be like, okay, I'm gonna do X million dollars in business. I'm gonna make sure that I have 2 or 3 times that, because just holding the KDAB is that it'll go up in value. So it's a win-win for anybody that's big players. There should be a really good underlying, like a driver for that utility of your coin.
Yes, utility and a commodity. And like you said, that's a good point. It's like almost like the internet, blockchain internet. And I mean, there's a million use cases, even for real estate. Imagine the escrows on the smart contracts. I mean, people are going to lose jobs. You won't need all these extra, I mean, when you buy a house, how much bullshit and closing fees and all this goes through credit. I mean, it's really like
how much paper is wasted on a daily basis. How many more trees are going to be in the world because of Kadena? When people talk about proof of work, they don't really realize we might be, using some energy, which eventually in 10 years is going to be all renewable energy anyways. Like the planet's going to run 100% off solar or wind. I don't get why there's this big fuss over proof of work, because it's just not.
Isn't energy for gas drilling? I mean, that's all energy anyway. I don't know. I read what I read, but
your kid who plays Fortnite uses more energy. Kids playing Fortnite, the video game Fortnite, on a global scale uses like 2 times or 3 times more energy than Bitcoin miners on a global scale. What, you're gonna whine about your kid playing Fortnite? Hell no. Could you imagine trying to ban Fortnite in America because it uses too much energy?
I think mine's just gonna overheat, man. It's like an addiction. But you're right. And everybody's pushing for the renewable energy, especially this administration. I mean, the whole gas thing being $8, I almost feel like, I don't know, I'm not going to get into all that, but I feel like you're forced into buying your electric cars. And
yep, you are 100%, man, 100%. it's where this industry is going. It's crazy that we'll save that for another time, man. So we're going on 11:30. I got another one at 12 with Sam and James, so I probably got to get running. But
awesome,
Joey Tunes, man, it's an honor to have you, man, and can't wait to get you back on the show whenever you guys are ready. So you let me know when, and we'll set up another one, man. It was an honor.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you. Try not to block me this time. And,
yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk again. Yeah, like I said, we'll try and get Steve on. It'll be like I think that'll be a good one, be able to carry on everything, both sides.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about, because he does baseball, right? And you specialize in football?
Yeah. His model's crazy. Yeah. I mean, his models are he trains the models like crazy. I think there's 32 stacks or something, like
sure, that's wild.
We have our own, but yeah, he's on another level.
That's awesome. Man. Well, Joey, where can everybody find you at? Give yourself a shout out. You're Joey Tunes 2 on Twitter. And what other platforms are you on?
That's basically my main one. I mean, you could go there, find me. I have a website that I haven't really developed yet. I've been working on this and the other thing, but it's feedme.bet. Feedme is like my slogan and marketing tool for, I'll give some shirts out. I'm starting a new Miami colors for my shirts and hats. So yeah, it's Joey Tunes 2 on Twitter, and the hashtag's Feedme for basically partners who give me accounts. I'm asking feed me accounts, not money or anything like that. So
well, when you get that merch, let me know, because I'm going to buy one and I'll do a giveaway on my show.
It's on the house, man. I don't charge anybody anything.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case,
that's nice. Yeah, man.
I like this merch store, man.
That's why I have a website. I'm like, I don't want to sell anything. I just want to win with people. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, man. I hear you, bro. I appreciate it, man. All right, Joey, I got to run, man. Have a great day, buddy.
All right, take care.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks.